Do not be afraid to. Only the bold go to Tony Osano's boxing, and this is where boldly no man has gone before. Tony Osano's boxing.
Crawford has said he doesn't want to come out of retirement for a rematch with you. Do you think you can draw him out of retirement?
Oh, that's sad because I think that people deserve the rematch, but things happen and I'm gonna look forward for my career.
All the way over here?
So, what did you make of David Benavidez's performance against Cerruto and him calling you out after that fight?
Yeah, I think every single boxer for any division they calling me out. So it's something, it's nothing new for me that. But he did good the fight.
Are you surprised after all these years he's still calling you names and looking to get that fight even with him boxing as high as cruiserweight?
No, I'm not surprised.
So realistic for 175.
What a sucker.
Canelo's
a sucker.
I don't think he can make even 175 anymore. I don't know, but it's not my problem.
Aaron Crawford has said he doesn't want to come out of retirement for a rematch with you. Do you think you can draw him out of retirement?
Oh, that's sad because I think that people deserve the rematch.
Only he wants the rematch. Tony Osano's boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe and click the like button. Do not be afraid to comment and give me your assessments and your opinions on upcoming fights. There's a lot going on in boxing, so much I don't even know where to start, but I'm going to start this way. We're talking about who has a bigger following, who is more marketable, Xander Zayas or Gerardo Ennis. Who do you think is more marketable, and who do you think has a bigger following? This is a very, very tricky question because I did my due diligence and I see that they both have a pretty decent following, but there's a lot of different variables, and I want to get into the details about that between Xander Zayas and Jerome Boots Ennis. Jerome Boots Ennis on his Instagram has around 300,000 followers, and Xander Zayas on his social media Instagram has 400,000 followers. So he slightly has the edge as far as social media goes, has more followers as far as social media goes, Xander Zayas. So we got to remember one thing: Xander Zayas he's in his prime, but he's younger than Jerome Boots Ennis, and has accomplished more than Jerome Boots Ennis in a short period of time, considering that he's younger and Jerome Boots Ennis has been around longer than him, I think, in boxing, as far as he's been around a little longer and still hasn't accomplished as much as Xander Zayas. So Xander Zayas, when he fought in Puerto Rico, well, actually, I don't want to get to that part yet. Xander Zayas typically ranges on TV like 500,000 to 550,000 viewership on television networks like ESPN whenever he fights. And Boots generally has a higher viewership numbers than Xander as far as TV, pay-per-view network, premium network. He averages like 600,000 to 800,000 viewership on premium TV. Jerome Boots Ennis, that is. So yeah, so as far as viewership on premium TV, Jerome Boots Ennis slightly has the edge, but Xander Zayas is not too far. He's 500,000, 550,000 versus 800,000 to 600,000 Jerome Boots Ennis. So if we look at the live gate in Puerto Rico, Xander Zayas basically sold 1.1 million at the gate with 12,151 people at the audience in Puerto Rico to watch his fight live. And Jerome Boots Ennis has had fights in Philadelphia, and he has gotten 1.1 million as well at the gate, and had 14,119 people in the audience watching in Philadelphia. So it's slightly bigger numbers for him in that area. But when it comes to marketability, I believe Xander Zayas is more marketable than Jerome Boots Ennis because the Puerto Rican fan base is usually more stronger, more supportive, and is more marketable because he has a whole country that he can promote to, and he can promote in everywhere where there's Puerto Ricans. That Puerto Ricans are hardcore boxing fans, and with Jerome Boots Ennis, they can promote him as far as Philadelphia and his hometown, but as far as promoting him like on a larger scale, like the marketability wise, Xander Zayas has the edge in being more marketable and more support from Puerto Rican fan base because it's a very supportive fan base. They usually pay for pay-per-view. They usually support their fighters a little bit more, a lot more actually. So I believe that they're kind of almost averaging out, almost even. But I think Duran Boots Ennis slightly favors Xander Zayas in the premium TV network, but not by much. 800,000, 600,000 to versus 550,000 to 500,000 to Xander Zayas on premium TV. But Xander Zayas, as far as live fighting in Puerto Rico, he is about even with Duran Boots Ennis. About even. You know, Duran Boots Ennis slightly got a few more people in Philadelphia than Xander Zayas had in Puerto Rico. Xander Zayas got 112. No, let me correct that. Xander Zayas got 12,151 live in Puerto Rico supporting him, and Duran Boots Ennis got in Philadelphia got 14,119. So slightly a little bit more for Duran Boots Ennis, but at the end of the day, the more marketable fighter is Xander Zayas. Subscribe to Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to my channel. Click the like button and do not be afraid to comment. Let me say hi to all my fellow people that always tune in. My regulars, Como Lomo. Zayas has the top ranked team. Has focused on legacy, but I'm not sure he's getting paid much. Boots does make noise and has been knocking people out, so that helps. Yes. Great point. He's the harder puncher of the two, but not the better boxer of the two. That's what I think and I see. Como Lomo, the one who will be the most marketable is the one who wins on June 27th. Facts, Como Lomo. Facts. Thanks for your comment. That is true. That is going to determine who is more marketable. But I think that sky's the limit if Xander Zayas wins because of the Puerto Rican fan base, a whole country behind him, and, you know, what he's accomplished already in a short period of time, the two-time champion. He's more accomplished than Duran Boots Ennis as far as the 154-pound weight division and the opponents that he's had. He has a better resume than Duran Boots Ennis. Stanionis is not an elite fighter. He's a good fighter, very good fighter, but not elite, not better than Abis Barral. Do you guys agree? Yobit White, bro, is that a Confederate flag behind? Hell no, it's not a Confederate flag. Don't insult me, boy. Don't insult my intelligence. That's a Puerto Rican flag, the independence flag of Puerto Rico. That is the flag that the United States of America did not want Puerto Ricans to represent. They wanted to impose the navy blue American colors, and they killed a lot of Puerto Ricans, gave them 10 years in prison just for having the Puerto Rican flag and representing their flag. So the independence and the liberation of Puerto Rico, they were murdered and they were innocently killed in the Ponce Massacre, and they put Puerto Ricans in prison for 10 years just for having the Puerto Rican flag. These colors right here, this is the original color of the independence of Puerto Rico. The United States imposed the navy blue color on Puerto Ricans. But I don't want to get into politics. If you want to check out my music, check it out on Spotify, Unite the Tribes, all major platforms. Check out Free Puerto Rico as well on all major platforms. Yes, Tony also. Yes, my music is on all major platforms. Check out my new single, I Want to Be Free. It's a freestyle dance song. And I Won't Stop is another freestyle dance song. And it's #1 on all major platforms. Subscribe. Kathy Demuth 8241 said hi. Salute. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Peace. One love. And subscribe to the channel. God bless everybody tuning into this channel. And everybody, all the new ones that are coming, and all my regulars like Como Lomo. I appreciate your comments, Como Lomo, and thanks for tuning in. It's one of my regulars. And let me see what else. Yobit White, I love PR. Thank you for your comment. I know you was asking me a question, and I'm glad that you asked me the question. I thought you was trying to be funny, but no, you was actually asking a serious question based on your response. And yes, I had to clarify. You know, that's the Puerto Rican flag, the independence flag of Puerto Rico, which the United States imposed the navy blue colors on Puerto Rico and gave Puerto Ricans 10 years in prison if they represented the independent flag of Puerto Rico. And they killed Albizu Campos with BDI radiation, and the government killed him. The FBI is proven in the carpeta and the FBI files, and you can look that up, and you can check out my music. I talk about it on some of my songs. Not all my songs are political, but my hip-hop ones can be political, and you can check that out. Unite the Tribes, Free Puerto Rico. Check out my dance music. I Want to Be Free, and I Won't Stop is my #1 single. Yes, subscribe to the channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. So let me get back into boxing. So let me read some of the comments over here. Como Lomo, Zayas has the classic clean cut look, and Ennis is too low key to be marketed. I agree. He's too quiet, and he doesn't really like show his personality. But he is a talented boxer. Let's not take that away from him. But I see what you're saying, Como Lomo. You have a great point. And right now, this fight between Xander Zayas and Jurambus Ennis, both their fan base is going to grow, and it's going to be for the junior middleweight championship unification match in Brooklyn Barclays Center. The match is expected to produce the largest individual viewership pay-per-view by rate of either fighter's career to date. So this is going to be both fan bases together, and it's going to bring a huge amount of viewership because both fighters have a huge fan base. Huge enough to make it a real big pay-per-view viewership. So yeah, so I believe now that I said that, the more marketable fighter is the one that wins, like Omolomo said on June 27th. Facts. But the Puerto Rican fan base is very, very, very supportive and very marketable. And mostly Puerto Rican fans are really, really hardcore and they support their fighters. But that's my assessment. I made the best man win. I'm rooting for Xander Zayas. It's a tough fight. I'm not going to pick either fighter. I'm not going to make a prediction, but I think that Xander Zayas has the capabilities and all the tools and the boxing pedigree, the boxing footwork that could give Jurambus Ennis trouble. And I believe that it's a very, very good fight on both ends, dangerous fight for both fighters. But I believe that Xander Zayas is built for this and he's ready. And Jurambus Ennis is a great fighter as well. So we're gonna see what happens. So as far as Canelo is over here saying in the introduction in the video that they asked him, how do you feel about Terence Crawford not wanting to come out of retirement to give you a rematch? I just hate the way the interviewer worded it. He worded it to favor Canelo Alvarez, which is really strategic to kind of like kiss his butt and basically give Canelo too much credit when interviewers should just be subjective and not be so focused on giving the person that the fighter that they're interviewing the benefits. Just interview him with real questions. You don't have to be politically correct and give him the proper questions that Canelo feels comfortable with. Give him questions that he's uncomfortable with. That's the problem. There's not a lot of great journalists now. They just ask comfortable questions for the fighter and do not ask him questions that the fans want them to ask. And that's the problem. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe to the channel. Do not be afraid to click the like button. Do not be afraid to come in this channel and subscribe and hear the truth. And subscribe. And my channel is growing. I'm going to surpass the 1,000 mark of subscription. And I want to go beyond because I'm actually taking chances and giving you the unadulterated truth about everything that's going on with boxing. So as far as Canela, he basically says, "Oh, that's sad that Crawford retired. The fans want to see that fight between me and him. Nobody wants to see that fight between Canelo and Crawford. Crawford dominated and defeated Canelo and made him look foolish. It was a one-sided fight. There's no need for a rematch. Canelo is just reaching. He just wants to get that rematch because he was embarrassed. He was really embarrassed by Crawford, and that's the only way that he'll risk and fight somebody that he thought that he was going to have an advantage over because of the weight difference, but he didn't realize that Crawford was physically big, and it wasn't a difference because Crawford actually walks around at 180, so that was not a struggle for Crawford at all. But Canelo thought he was going to be able to capitalize on the fact that Crawford was going up to Canelo's weight class, but Canelo's weight class didn't make a difference at all. Canelo's weight difference did not make a difference at all because Canelo realized in the ring when he fought at 168, Crawford was the same size as Canelo, and there was no disadvantage for Crawford, and Crawford schooled Canelo because Canelo always struggled with boxers. Lara, Islandi Lara, Mayweather, they all schooled Canelo. Canelo was never improved by fighting Mayweather. He never improved. He was always a flat-footed fighter. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. Yes, I said it. Tony also said it. Everybody's saying, oh, Canelo got better after he fought Mayweather. No, he didn't. He was always flat-footed. He just avoided boxers, and that's the reason why he was able to look decent because he's not a great fighter. He's a good fighter. And Canelo always looked bad against boxers at Islandi Lara, Skoll, Bivol, Mayweather. Come on, man. Put 2 and 2 together. Use common sense. You Canelo love D riders. All you Canelo D riders. Why did Canelo never ever move up in weight to fight Benavidez? But he moved up in weight to fight Bivol because he thought Bivol didn't have no power. And then he moved up in weight to fight Sergey Kovalev, an older than dinosaur boxer who was way out of his prime when they fought in 2019. And that was definitely planned out because Canelo knew that Sergey Kovalev was way past his prime, and he took advantage of that, and he moved up in his weight because it was worth going up the weight class to fight him. But when it comes to Benavidez, he doesn't want to move up in weight. Canelo does not want to move up in weight because Canelo knows that David Benavidez will turn him into a marshmallow. Canelo will turn into a marshmallow if he fights David Benavidez. He don't want to get humiliated by David Benavidez. That's the reason why he won't go up and fight David Benavidez 175. David Benavidez already told Canelo that if he wants to fight him, the fans want to see that fight. Nobody wants to see Crawford rematch versus Canelo because Canelo got beat and dominated by Crawford. It was a one-sided fight. Nobody wants that fight. What a hypocrite Canelo is. Canelo is a hypocrite and a narcissist. He wants to act like the fans really want to watch Crawford versus Canelo when he's lying to the fans. He's lying to himself. He's the biggest hypocrite in boxing. Canelo is the biggest hypocrite in boxing. He don't call it for what it is. And he's not. He don't fight for the fans. He fights for himself. And I understand you got to fight for yourself. But if the fans are the ones that put the money in your pocket because they're the ones that support you, you got to fight for the fans too. You got to fight for the fans too. You can't have it your way all the time. You're cheating the fans. And David Benavidez said it clearly that most of the fans want to see David Benavidez versus Canelo. And David Benavidez said that he'll fight Canelo at 175. But Canelo's saying, "Oh, I don't think he's gonna be able to make 175. But that's not my problem if he can make 175 or not." Canelo, you need to brush up on your English because you sound repetitive and stupid and intentional by saying the same thing, the same rhetoric, to make people think that people want to see you fight a rematch with Crawford when nobody wants to. Most real boxing fans do not want to see you fight Crawford again because they know that you lost clearly, like clear as water. You lost clear as water, and you will never beat Crawford, no matter how many times you think that you had to work on something to actually beat him, that your timing was off, that you was trying to be as fast as him. There's nothing you could do to beat Crawford. Crawford will always beat you no matter what, and nobody wants to see that fight again. Only your fans who are blindly your fans that don't know nothing about boxing, they just blindly follow you and say that you're the best, and you're not the best. David Benavidez is better than you, and you don't want to get humiliated by Benavidez. That's why you don't want to move up to 175. Why did you move to 175 to fight Bivol? Because Bivol didn't have power, but then he fooled you. You thought that he was going to lose, but then he showed you that it's not only about power, it's about skills, and he dominated you too, Canelo. He dominated you and beat you, made you look foolish, and made you look like the one-dimensional fighter that you really are. That most people that are your fans are blindly following you, not looking at the facts or wanting to know the facts. But over here in Tony Also Knows Boxing, subscribe to my channel. You get the facts. Tony Also Knows Boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Yes. So Canelo only moved up in weight to fight Bivol because he thought Bivol was going to lose because he didn't think he had power. But Bivol schooled him, beat him, and dominated him. And he also moved up in weight to fight Sergey Kovalev in 2019 because Sergey Kovalev was older than dinosaur bones. And that's the reason why he moved up to fight him. Because he figured, oh, he's out of his prime. But he don't want to take a risk and fight David Benavidez at 175. He can make the weight. David Benavidez could make the weight. But you just don't want to fight him because you don't want to get humiliated at 175. So you're looking for excuses, man. You know, I hope you lose against Christian and Billy. I hope you lose, Canelo, to Christian and Billy. And I say that to all the Canelo love D-riders. The ones that D-ride Canelo, I say that to all of them. This is for you. I get a lot of comments from Canelo fans, and I want those Canelo fans to know that Canelo is overrated, and he always chose to move up in weight when he had the advantage. When he had the advantage with Sergey Kovalev, he was older than dirt, and then that's why he did it. And then he moved up in weight for Bivol. He was older than dirt. Well, Bivol was not older than dirt. He thought that Bivol had no power and that he could fight him and beat him, but then he was sadly mistaken. He got dominated. He thought the same thing with Crawford, that he was going to be bigger than Crawford and he was going to be able to overpower him. But boxing is not only about strength and muscle, it's about intelligence and IQ. And in this case, Crawford was the same weight as Canelo. There was no way that he had an advantage because Crawford walks around at 180. So it backfired on Canelo because Canelo thought he was going to be able to be a weight bully like the way he always is, a weight bully. He's overrated. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. Canelo is overrated. Tony also said it here first. I'm the realist. I speak my mind, and I don't care what anybody else says. Like people in the mainstream want to actually over glorify Canelo, but I'm here to tell you that Canelo's overrated. Compared to Felix Trinidad, Roy Jones, Pernell Whitaker, James Toney, Julian Jackson, all those fighters, Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad, they were way better than Canelo. Canelo would be an average fighter if he was to fight in the 90s. He would be like a needle in a haystack. You won't be able to find him. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. All right, let me read the comments over here. Gomolomo says, Zayas has the classic... Okay, yeah, I read that part. Gomolomo, Zayas is younger, unified champion, but hardcore fans are not into... Okay, let me read that again. Gomolomo says, Zayas is younger, unified champion, but hardcore fans are into Ennis. That's true. But they're gonna, they're gonna respect... Xander Zayas if he wins. They're going to give him the props that he deserved. There, a lot of people are overlooking him. You got to look at it like that too. But como lomo, Canelita just fights older, over-the-hill fighters or fighters who are smaller like Crawford, who still beat his ass. True indeed. It backfired on him. It backfired on him when he fought Crawford, Canela. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. Como lomo says Canelo also cheats. Tested positive clenbuterol and leaves were levs were sky high and Suleiman covered it. Yeah, man. It's a lot of politics, man. It's a lot of politics when you're the named fighter. Gomolomo, he also likes the catchweight fighters to weight drain them. Been ducking Benavidez forever. That's right, Gomolomo. You're right. Thank you for your comments, Gomolomo. That is facts. That is true. I think that Canelo will turn into a marshmallow if he fights David Benavidez. He will turn into a marshmallow. Yes. So I believe that Canelo is overrated, and he's going to fight Christian and Billy in September. And I think that David Benavidez took over the Mexican holiday, and with good reason. He is the better, more willing to take the smoke type of fighter, and he doesn't need Canelo. He said he doesn't need Canelo for his legacy, but it would be a fight. It's not a fight that he needs, but the fans need it. That's what David Benavidez said. And an interesting fact, if you didn't know, when they were in Puerto Rico to collect the WBO belt, and Miguel Cotto passed the belt to David Benavidez, a Mexican legend to a Puerto Rican legend to a Mexican legend, Benavidez. And the father, they asked him, what did he think about the Puerto Rican fighters? And they asked David Benavidez, what do you think about Puerto Rican fighters? David Benavidez mentioned Felix Tito Trinidad, mentioned Macho Camacho, and Wilfred Benitez as the fighters that he liked watching. And the father actually honorable mention. He said Felix Tito Trinidad, he used to watch videos of Felix Tito Trinidad, the way he planted his feet and he threw the left hook all the time with David Benavidez. So I could see why David Benavidez has some similarities to Felix Tito Trinidad. I kind of see the Felix Tito Trinidad influencing him in certain ways, his approach. But Felix Tito Trinidad is Felix Tito Trinidad, but I could see the influence on David Benavidez. So that was interesting what David Benavidez's father said. And he also said, que viva Puerto Rico, like Don King used to say. David Benavidez's father said that at the end of the interview. So he was watching Felix Tito Trinidad with David Benavidez when he was growing up. So that is an interesting fact that a lot of people don't know. And that's interesting. So I think that David Benavidez right now, he has a lot of options. He doesn't need Canelo, but he said, they asked him, if you don't ever get to fight Canelo, do you think that's going to affect your legacy? And he said, no, I don't need Canelo, but the fans need Canelo in me. That fight will make a lot of money. And that's the thing that Canelo Schmanelo says that he just wants the payday. Everybody asks for the fight, but David Benavidez just wants the payday. He don't fight for the money. Yes, of course he wants to get money, but he don't fight, that's not his main goal. His main goal is legacy and basically fighting for the fans. And Canelo doesn't want to give him the opportunity to make money. That's another reason why I think Canelo doesn't want to fight Benavidez, but he also doesn't want to get humiliated by Benavidez. That's another reason, and a big reason why he doesn't want to fight David Benavidez, Canelo. Canelo is not fighting for the fans. Don't let him fool you. Even Canelo fans are stupid, because Canelo fans, the ones that blindly follow him, they over glorify him, and they don't call him out on not fighting David Benavidez because they're not real boxing fans. They're just Canelo fans. They're not real boxing fans. And if you were smarter, you would call him out by being hypocritical and saying that the fans want him to get a rematch with Crawford, when that's not what the fans really want. The real fans don't want him to get a rematch because that was a one-sided fight. Crawford dominated Canelo and beat the crap out of him and made him look foolish, one-dimensional, and it was a one-sided fight. You know the fans didn't really want that fight, the real fans. So the majority of the fans want David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez. But that's the hypocritical part of Canelo that his fans blindly overlook, and they're stupid, and they're not really, they don't have a high IQ if they don't call him out on that. They don't have an IQ. They're just stupid and gullible if they don't call him out on that. Comolomo, he is also, okay, he said that already. Okay, I already read that. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for everybody tuning into my channel. I really appreciate all the people tuning in, all my regulars, Comolomo, and the new people that are coming in. Subscribe to that channel. Do not be afraid to click the like button. Do not be afraid to comment, and do not be afraid to subscribe to my channel. Only the brave and the intelligent subscribe to my channel because they want to hear the truth. They don't want to they do not want to be pampered with lies and trickery and clickbait and hypocrisy. I am not doing that. I am giving you the real bait, the reality, the knowledgeable information, and the no-holds-barred, unadulterated truth, and diving into what most content creators are afraid to dive in on. They don't want to speak the truth. They want to lie. They want to lie and keep feeding people whatever the majority of the people want to hear. They don't want to be real versatile. They want to be fake versatile. They call me controversial, but I feel I'm real versatile. I'm not controversial. Only hypocrites don't like the truth, so I would never say controversial. I say I'm real versatile. Yes, subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Long live free Puerto Rico. Comolomo, thank you for your comment. I appreciate you. Yeah, free Puerto Rico. Yep, I appreciate your comment, and I appreciate you tuning in. You're one of my regulars, Comolomo. Comolomo, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel and check out my single, Unite the Tribes. Check out Free Puerto Rico. Check out the Monumental Truth hip hop album. I got a song with Keith Murray called Stop Being Greedy. It's going to be released and mixed and mastered, and it's going to be on all major platforms. Check out my new dance singles. I also do dance music too. Check out I Won't Stop, my #1 freestyle dance song. It's #1, and my other song is #2. It's called I Want to Be Free. It's a dance freestyle song as well. It's going to be on a different album that I'm releasing. Yes, subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. Let me see if I can play the song to end this on a great positive note. The name of the song is I Won't Stop. It's on all major platforms, my #1 single, and it's about accomplishing your goals and not giving up, and the things that you have to deal with the ups and downs of trying to fulfill your goals. Alexa, play I Won't Stop by Tony Also.
I couldn't find that,
No,
but here are other songs by Tony Oso and similar artists
Alexa,
on Amazon
stop.
Music.
Alexa, stop. Play I Won't Stop. Tony Also. They played it before. Alexa, play I Won't Stop by Tony Also.
I can't find I Won't Stop by
They gotta
Tony
find it. They gotta
Oso.
find it before I leave. Alexa, play Tony Also. I Won't Stop. It plays
Here's
games.
I Won't Stop and similar songs on Amazon Music.
My #1 single. Check out my music on all major platforms. Alright, Alexa, stop. Alright, that's my new single, #1 on all major platforms. You could download it, you can listen to it, you can purchase it. You can hear it everywhere on all major platforms. You can download it, check it out. And check out I Wanna Be Free, is another freestyle dance song. And I also have hip hop music as well. The Monumental Truth is a hip hop album. The Prodigy of Abyssal Campus is a hip hop album. And you can check out my dance music, I Won't Stop, my #1 single. And I Wanna Be Free, another dance freestyle single, is #2. So check it all out. 1,000 streams in the first 3 days. That's a great accomplishment for an independent artist like me, Tony Oso. Subscribe to the channel. Tony Oso knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. That's all I got for now. Subscribe to the channel. Only the brave do that. So don't be a coward. Subscribe to my channel if you're brave. And if you're intelligent and you want to